I'm glad to welcome you to RUDN University. Here you can do science everywhere. On the street, in our field tours and research, in the forest, in the park, and of course in the laboratory, where you are surrounded by scientific equipment and different tools. Many of them are in a single copy in the Russian Federation. Many of them are new and have not been tested at all. But working with them, we open up new horizons of research. Here you can listen to interesting lectures, collaborate with famous scientists, and learn a lot about our open laboratory. After all, RUDN supports sustainable, eco-friendly policy. Its campus is recognized as one of the greenest university campuses in the world.
Welcome to the virtual excursion to the Smart Urban Nature Lab, the laboratory which is involved in the investigation of urban environment under global changes. The laboratory was found in Agrarian Technological Institution of the RUDN University in 2018 and was supported by the Russian Science Foundation project since 2019. The laboratory includes several work groups involved in different directions of urban studies. The main directions include urban vegetation, urban soils, urban climate, estimation and accounting of urban ecosystem services. A considerable part of research is taken outside in the university campus. So let's start from there. RUDN campus is one of the key points for the monitoring investigations of the laboratory. Campus is very green, and it is also globally recognized as the most green campus in Russia, so there are lots of things to investigate. In the campus we study and monitor green infrastructure and tree health, soils, air temperature and soil moisture. And now we get to one of the principal investigation points near the main building where lots of equipment is installed. First of all, these are the tree torque devices of the new generation which we use to monitor and evaluate tree health. The devices are installed on the tree trunk and they allow to monitor number of parameters of the tree health in real time. The device looks quite simple and compact. These are the two main probes. These probes are installed in the trunk and they allow monitoring temperature and moisture and estimate one of the most important parameters for the tree health, which is subflow. And this is another probe which is also fixed to the trunk, and this sensor is responsible to measure the biomass growth. Finally, the device includes spectrometer, and the spectrometer is responsible to monitoring the spectral data, basically the color of the leaf and the change in the color resulted from the season or from the disease. Inside the device, we have the accelerometer, which is responsible for measuring the vertical angle. So basically, it characterizes the tree stability. There are about 200 such devices in Moscow, and 60 of them are installed in the RUDN University. And this network allows to collect a unique database of the normal and extreme parameters of the tree functionality. We can make the conclusion remotely whether the tree is sustainable and healthy or there are any problems and some treatments shall be taken. On the next location, we monitor urban soils. Urban soils are highly diverse, very dynamic. They're quite different from natural soils, and depending on the land cover, could be lawns or shrubs or trees, the soil properties and results can be very different. For instance, now we do the soil sampling of technosoil constructions on the lawns. In this case, we collect soil samples by augering. We use the soil auger with a special ending depending on the soil texture. Soil samples are further placed on the plastic film with a centimeter, and in this way we reconstruct the soil profile. Urban soils, similarly to natural soils, contain from several horizons. However, for the urban soils, most of these horizons have artificial genesis. For instance, here, based on the color, we can see a clear border between the darker and more brownish color. So this is the border of the artificially brought layer, which was brought here during the formation of the green lawn. In the subsoil layer, we see the loamy texture and some inclusions, some evidences of glaciation. This horizon can be referred as orbic horizon. Now, having with profile, we make the profile description, and we also describe the color using the special Munsell color scheme. Right now, we are preparing the instrumentations for measuring greenhouse gases emissions. Greenhouse gases emissions and their influence on the global climate is one of the most studied and the hottest environmental questions of today. At the experimental station, we monitor soil emission of CO2 using the special infrared gas analyzer. It is a portable gas analyzer which allows to measure emission in situ, so basically right at the place outside. Special collars are installed in the lawn and they warranty the strong contact between the chamber and the collar. And by this chamber, we analyze soil emission from this surface, so basically the flux of the CO2 ongoing from the soil to the atmosphere. Changes in the concentration is fixed by the gas analyzer, and based on this change in the concentration, the flux is estimated. Such measurements are taken during the whole year because soil respiration, as many other soil functions, is quite dynamic during the day and during the season. So each second week during the whole year and even in the winter, we do the measurements here and in the other cities and regions to understand how soils behave under different bioclimatic and anthropogenic conditions. We are ready to do the measurements of the CO2 emissions. It is a regular procedure which we take each second week, and now my colleague is ready to explain you how the process is ongoing. My name is Dmitry Serzhanov, and I am researcher in the Smart Urban Nature Laboratory. Now I'm going to do the measurements of the CO2 soil respiration by using the portable high-accuracy gas analyzer Lycor 820. At first, we flush the chamber to have the concentration similar to the air concentration, and after the chamber is flushed, we install it on the collars which were preliminarily installed on soil surface. As soon as the chamber is installed, we start the program on the computer, and in parallel we measure soil temperature, soil moisture, and air temperature. For soil moisture, we use the portable soil moisture probe HH150 by Delta T. When the program is started on the computer, we can see the concentrations of CO2 in the air in ppm. We start measuring and observe changes in the concentration. We assume the increase in the concentration since CO2 is emitted from soil to the atmosphere, and after some threshold, we usually consider it 100 ppm, we stop the measurement and further on, based on the linear or quadratic function, we estimate the flux. The resulting concentration is grams of carbon per square meter per day. And now let's have a look how the soil microclimatic parameters are measured. To analyze and describe urban soil climate, we observe soil temperature and moisture and air temperature. Air temperature together with air humidity is measured by tree talkers and portable meteorological station. As for the soil temperature measurements, it's a bit more complicated, considering that soil temperature can change under different land covers and also with depth. We use portable temperature probes which are installed under different land covers and down the profile. The probes look like the small circles called eye buttons. They're fixed on the ruler and installed to soil. After a year, they are taken from the soil and the data is extracted, and we analyze all processes and we analyze how those processes affected green infrastructure and generally urban climate.
Hi there. For biodiversity monitoring here we used the acoustic ecology technologies, and here in campus we use both the wildlife song meter and the audio moth. Now I will plug this one on another spot, but here we will use audio moth. It is easy to work with it through the smartphone, through the application. It gives us the audio data which we used for further analysis of the bird songs to monitor the birds. We use it also for sound level pressure measurements to understand the noise pollution over the campus and how the green infrastructure here reduces the noise. And also we use it for the whole soundscape studies to understand the long-term monitoring, the long-term dynamics of the soundscape in the campus. So yeah, it is the very simple sensor which is already broken by me. This is audio mol. Only 3 batteries, and it collects the data for you for several hours, weeks, years if necessary. It is easy to plug it over there. Just simply put it here, and that's all. It is ready for collecting the data through the week. Next week I will get back here and take the SD card with my audio file. The cluster of the tree talkers over there on these trees, and I use this spot for the long-term measurements with the song meter SM4, which is the best sensor provided by the Wildlife Acoustics, and we compare it with the data from the audio moth also. We use it all over the year, that is why it is already damaged a bit, but yeah, it is not really hard. You just turn it on. Here's the number, the firmware, and yeah, you can easily use the quick start to record always, record 30 minutes on, 30 off, or 5:55, or from sunrise to sunset, whatever you want. For our purposes we used 5:55, and yeah, I will write the schedule. Yes. Press start, and it will start in the next hour from the 14. We got only 3 minutes to plug it. Oh, we are ready to install it. We will do it on this tree with a tree talker, because it is also writes the temperature of the air temperature, and we will compare the data from the tree talker and from the song meter. But where is my stairs?
с помощью дрона Mavic 2.
With the drone, and the model of this drone is Mavic 2, we analyze the state of the green infrastructure by remote sensing and also analyze the elevation. Now we will start the drone, fly at the height of 50 to 80 meters, take some images, and further on we will process the images and based on those make the digital models.
Выбираем, значит, параметры полета.
We set up the parameters of the flight, we select the net, the direction of the flight, and then we start the flight.
Hello dear students, my name is Valentina. I do the mapping of green infrastructure in RUDN campus. As you know, green objects are different in types and usually they have complex shapes and plan. To simplify digitizing, we focus on three main objects: lawn, trees, shrubs, and simplify their shapes. In order to mark each tree on the map, I go out into the field and use a GPS navigator to mark objects, measure their parameters of trunk radius, crown, and height. This is a rather time-consuming process, but with modern smart app, we can simplify the mapping and management of green infrastructure. Using the GreenSpace application, I can set the desired tree on the map and see its parameters from the phone. I can set new work for gardeners and check its progress. Also, I can do a visual assessment of the tree and protect the plant. The area of campus is 34 hectares in area. Here there are 1,700 trees, 260 shrubs, and around 60 hectares lawns. The seeded area, which consists from building, parking and roads, make up 52%. The four most common tree species are Tilia cordata, Vitulopendula, Salix capreae and Populus tremula. They account for 64% of all trees. On the graph you can see the distribution of the diameters and heights of trees by species. Rare individuals exceed a height of 20 meters. The most typical height is about 10 to 13 meters, while diameters range from 10 to 30 centimeters in most cases. Maintenance of the campus is carried out by 8 employees who work in the landscaping department of the RUDN University. On the calendar of works you can see the number of hours spent on various work types. The most time-consuming jobs are moving lawns, watering flower beds and removing snow. If you divide the work into the categories of service, planting, planning types, you will see a strong predominance toward the service jobs and a deficit in the planning jobs. The consumables cost table shows the cost of spending by category of equipment, personnel, and planting supplies. You can independently compare this data with the value of ecosystem services obtained from the data of the green campus infrastructure.
So the main idea here is to reconstruct the campus to make it as an open lab, which means that we got four main ideas of this open lab. The first thing is the innovative inventory, which was mentioned before. We should know even each tree and even each shrubs, lawns and elements of the green infrastructure here to manage it properly. The second thing is the innovative management of this area. That is why we used apps to find the jobs which should be done for each of the elements of the green infrastructure and manage these jobs through the apps. The third thing is the innovative smart monitoring systems to analyze the dynamics and the functioning of the elements of the green infrastructure. That is why we used all these tree talkers, XRFs, audio moths, whatever. All these sensors installed across the campus and provide us with the information of the functioning of the green area. And the fourth thing is the innovative education, which means that all the students who educated here, who study here in RUDN, all the staff and even the people who live next to the campus, they can learn something new about the new technologies of the greenery and the new innovative solutions, nature-based solutions, and some new things about the ways how to monitor these green areas with the help of the citizen science. That is the main ideas what we are asking you also to in your projects to focus on when you will prepare the ideas of the ways how the campus could be reconstructed. Please focus also on these things: inventory, management, monitoring, and education. And what is also joining all these things, the idea of the ecosystem services. You will learn a lot from the lectures and the seminars about the ecosystem services, which is provided by the green area to not only the students but also for the citizens, and that is the way which we can use for joining the community around the green space of the campus and bring something new to the whole city.